So, what happens when the life everyone else wants for you just isn't the one you want for yourself? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful story about having the courage to forge your own path, even when it means disappointing the people you care about most.
It's a heavy question, right? But it's at the absolute heart of the story we're getting into, and honestly, it's something a lot of us face, but maybe don't always have the courage to answer. Just kind of keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this.
All right, let's get into it. Our story starts with a young man named Arham, and he was born into a world that was loving, for sure, but also filled with some pretty powerful expectations. You know, from a really young age, the blueprint for Arham's life was basically already drawn out. His dad, a respected teacher, was convinced that a secure job was the only way to be successful, and his mom, well, she dreamed of him becoming a doctor, a job that came with respect and stability. The message was loud and clear. Just follow this path, and you'll be safe. So on one side, you've got this life that's all laid out for him. Become a doctor, be secure, be respected. But on the other side, deep down in Arham's heart, was this dream of being a businessman, a path fueled by creativity and independence. And look, this wasn't just about picking a career. It was a clash of values, security versus freedom. And this is the kind of advice he was getting all the time. I mean, it comes from a place of love, you can tell, but it's also coming from a place of fear. The whole message was, avoid risk, play it safe, choose the predictable thing over the thing you're passionate about. So, Arham did what was expected. He kind of buried his dreams and enrolled in medical college.
But here's the thing. You can't just suppress who you really are forever. Sooner or later, something's got to give. And for Arham, that pressure was building up, and it was about to lead to a massive turning point.
Just try to imagine that feeling. He's doing everything right, everything he was ever told to do, but inside, there's just this emptiness. He's physically there, studying to save lives, but he feels like his own life is just slipping through his fingers. He was alive, sure, but he wasn't living. And then, something totally unexpected happened. He failed a really important exam. Now, you'd think he'd be devastated, right? But instead, he felt relief. That failure wasn't a tragedy for him. It was almost like a permission slip. It gave him the space to finally stop and ask some really hard questions. And in that quiet moment, sitting all by himself, he finally asked the question that had been buried deep inside for years. Whose dream am I even living? For the very first time, he was being totally honest with himself. And the answer, it was crystal clear. And yeah, it was terrifying.
So he did it. He walked right into the principal's office and withdrew from college. The reaction at home was, well, it was exactly what you'd expect. Silence, disappointment, and then anger. His father yelled, "You're ruining your life." But Arham, he stood his ground and he told them, "I just want to live a life that makes me feel alive."
And that's where the next chapter begins. Because, choosing your own path is one thing, but actually walking it, that's a whole different ballgame. And for Arham, that path was super lonely and incredibly difficult.
Oh yeah, reality hit him like a ton of bricks. He started this small online business selling handmade crafts, and in his first month, he made exactly 0 sales. Zilch. His old friends from college were making fun of him. He was totally alone, with nothing but this belief in his dream.
But this is where it gets good. This is where belief starts turning into action. Arham didn't just mope around. He basically became a student of his own dream. He just devoured everything he could find online, he read books on marketing and psychology, and he worked nonstop to make his products better. He was building his own education from scratch.
And listen, this was no overnight success story. Not even close. It took him 6 long months just to land his first decent order. It took 2 years before he could open a tiny little office. And it was a full 5 years of just grinding it out before his business became a recognized brand. This journey was a total marathon, not a sprint.
And through all those moments of doubt, and believe me, there were plenty, the times he almost ran out of cash, the failures, this was the mantra that just kept him going. It was this powerful reminder of why he even started down this crazy path in the first place.
So all that struggle, all that hard work, it was all building towards something. And the reward, when it came, wasn't just about money. It was something way more emotional, way deeper.
And then it happened. The seeds of all that hard work finally bloomed. His story started getting published in newspapers. The same people who used to doubt him were now praising his vision and his grit.
He had actually achieved the success he'd been dreaming of.
But the biggest win, the one that probably meant more than anything, came one evening when his father visited his office. Just seeing everything his son had built with his own two hands, the employees, the awards, he finally got it. And with tears in his eyes, he said the words Arham had been waiting his whole life to hear. I was wrong.
And Arham's response, wow, it just gets right to the very core of his motivation. This whole journey was never just about becoming a businessman or making money. It was about reclaiming his own identity. It was about earning the right to live his own life.
So, what can we all take away from Arham's incredible journey? Because this lesson isn't just for him, it's really for all of us.
This right here, this was Arham's big realization. And it's the central message of this whole story. Real, meaningful change in your life starts with that one single brave decision to honor your own path.
So when you boil it all down, the takeaway is this. Your destiny is yours to decide. Your path is going to look different from everybody else's, and that's a good thing. It takes so much bravery to listen to your own heart when the world is screaming advice at you. But the world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs the authentic, passionate, real version of you.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that question from the very beginning. Arham's whole journey started with one honest question and one brave decision. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What's the first small step you can take today on your own path?